Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. I'm going to finish base coating two models in Citadel's Gray Seer base, since these are Reaper Bones from the Reaper Bones 3 Kickstarter. And I'm just painting up a bunch of NPCs and the party of player characters I have for my Eberron 3.5 campaign that started Saturday. So yesterday's video, I had done the same with most, if not all, of these models. Some of them, like this guy here, are actually Wizkids Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures. So I didn't have to do this step. They're pre-primed, which is amazing. So that is Greg and Lucy's place right now with a lot of my D&D stuff. But I don't have to transport everything back and forth. So working with this box of NPCs. It's a lot of groups of models. So like right now I'm working on like monks and some knights, good or evil and such. Get a nice thin base coat of gray sear gray. Let all these guys dry. That way, once we get paint on enough of these guys, we can get to these guys. All right, get over there. And one more. And if I've got models like with these monks, if they're all, similar enough, I can use them as a group for, like, say, if we encounter some druids. All these monks are druids now. The knights can be various knights. Parents' not dining room, the breakfast nook table. There's no way we would have been allowed to paint on the dining room table. We were barely allowed to roll dice on it. Thank you again for your hospitality. I was running some D&D there and some D20 Modern. Doing kind of like a Hellboy thing, but with Moreaus, genetic human-animal hybrids. Or, the genetic level of furry, instead of having the costume. Like, hey, I want some cat's eyes, or enhanced reflexes, like with the X5s in Dark Angel starring Jessica Alba. And what's-his-face, later of Supernatural fame. Although he doesn't pop up until later in Season 1. But I think he pretty much dominated Season 2. Alright. Double check the notes, the crannies. Oh, forgot that entire armpit area. I'm human and I need to be loved just like everybody else does. Get these guys a little bit closer. Blot, blot, blot. Get this sear gray out of my brush. Let it soak for a minute. Get out of there. Try to close you up nice and tight. Eventually, I'm probably going to need some more of these because I have a second bottle of Wraithbone, but I only bought one bottle of Sear Gray. So eventually, I'm going to run low on those. $250624. Hi. Bob Ross says beat the devil out of it. I tend to beat the Chicago out of it. Yes, yes, yes. I am quite rough with my brushes. Give me a sip of water. Stay happy, stay hydrated, stay healthy. Let's move this drink out of the way. There's a cuddle bug on the couch. Yeah, you, I'm talking about you. Eventually, I'm going to get my setup in such a way that I have a kitty cam so you can see my 10-year-old, 20-some pound kitties. All right. So we should prioritize the party, right? All right. This is Sawati. I don't have the name in front of me, but base coated her and went with Prussian blue ink for an initial wash from Liquitex. The ones that are in green are phthalo green. I don't think I have all the Bob Ross color names, but for these I do. They were on clearance at Hobby Lobby years ago before it came to light all their controversies. All right. But this model is currently representing Zwadi, our cleric of the Sovereign Host, for at least in Eberron 3.5. If you are a cleric of the Sovereign prestige level, well, the level needed to get to the prestige class, you can start gaining extra domains like every level or every other level or so. It's ridiculous. You get the associated domain powers, you get extra domain spells added to your spell list that you can cast independently of your other clerical spells that you prayed for that night or day, depending on your cleric. You get your 8 hours of rest and pray with the morning sunrise, assuming you didn't get attacked during begin morning nautical twilight. All right. She requested these colors and then silver trim. I'll go back to the other chat if I need to. Guard, the Altdorf Guard Blue on here first. And then we'll do highlights of sky blue. All right. Partially buying time to wait for the sear gray to dry to make sure I'm not cross-pollinating. Let's get us a smaller brush. Yesterday we cracked open our pack of Daler and Rowney, daler-rowney.com. Available at Walmart, I believe also at Target. Nice little zipper pouch, 10-piece brush set. Tells you what they're called, but for the most part, I'm worried about... Well, you can stay there then. Any of the more pointed or chiseled, I like that knife edge tip on my brushes more than I like a point. Something I like to do first is make sure it's the size of brush. Oops, let's get these bristles broken in a little bit. Make them a little more flexible. To make sure that... did I miss the water that time? Make sure that it's the size I want for the spaces I'm trying to reach and that it's hopefully not too large. But yeah, this, I could probably paint the entire miniature with this one from this point on. I might switch just to make sure that the colors aren't Still oversaturating the brush if I didn't get it clean enough. Let's start with darkening up the dress. Alright, do I have one of those? I'll go with a piece of sprue, or pseudo sprue in this case. Oh, okay, just big enough. To keep it open, eventually, once my Citadel paints run out, I will have gotten to entirely dropper bottle style paints. Just using this as an example, I don't have my army painter readily available. I've got whoops. Too much paint, but what we're gonna do is just spread it in nice long lines, which is how I generally go about thinning my paints. We talk about 2 thin coats. I like 1 coat coverage when I can. What is that object? Can't tell if that's a fault of the dress, or especially since it seems to run up there, but just go with this color for now. Let's turn it a little bit. I need some more light on here. Side of the dress. Just going to leave that extra shadowy. That's a little not. This part didn't get nearly enough wash sticking to it, so, well, ink wash. All right, we got a cape. We're done. Trying to see what would be metal, like the front there, versus what is cloth. I want to say this is cloth over the other armor. I guess that's what we're going to go with. I think she's got exposed clavicular notch or whatever it's called. I don't think that's quite enough coverage. Can't really tell though. Come on. Recommend Jill Barup videos for more details on armor, practical armor and weapons, especially practical armor for women. She's got a series of videos for the adventurous woman having to attend a high society kind of event. What should you wear that you can still have a weapon on hand without trying to pull the Wonder Woman down the butt crack kind of sword holster sheath. Especially if you're not like Amanda from the Highlander series. Oh, there we go. I'd been listening to an Atheist Junior video earlier. Kent Hovind responding to Apologia. But everybody wants to, well, most of the apologetics want to mispronounce his name. Well, his screen name. His channel name. His channel with those buff muscles on his avatar. Like, I know he comes from an animation background, but I don't know if he's like hand drawing all his animations or if he's just using a software that, like the Mii's from the Wii or the Facebook sticker kind of avatar guys, where you only have so many choices, and would you rather lean towards buff or not? We're talking idealized. Why not go for something that pops? Right, I might change my mind later, but I think these are all the things that I want this blue on, because there's a lot of metal involved because she's a cleric. Because that's armored, that's shield, that arm is armored, that skirting is armored. Let's see if I can get that little spot in there. I'll go with the underarm as not as armored for this second, because that might be where the cloth is to help pad movement or whatnot. Alright, so Zawadi can sit out of the way a bit till I get back to you. Till I get back to blue. Alright. Anybody else that I want to give some blue? I mean, I don't see anybody else with blue on them, so I guess not. Alright, there's that. Careful when you do that, because a lot of times you'll have extra paint on the brace. Alright. I haven't met this character in game yet because the player couldn't make it, but that's fine. Trying to go with an adventuring party, the mercenary party kind of idea. So if a player is absent, we don't have to worry about character being present or absent. Like maybe they didn't go on this mission. We're heading over to greens, and I haven't pulled... Oh, what am I saying? I haven't pulled the wheel of green over yet. That's the orange wheel of green. Ha! This goes like Green High School in this area that uses... Green High School uses orange for their school colors. I don't get it. You can go with whatever the color they want, but that just seems like an odd choice. You already have a color name. Alright. Let's see. I was told that Steve likes green, doesn't care which kind. It ain't easy being green. It ain't easy being greasy. Alright. One of these Caliban greens is open, one is not. Those are kind of similar. I want something to make a triad. Dark Angels green, Snot green, and Moot green for an absolutely poppin' highlight. If we get that high of a highlight, we'll see. Okay. It's a little bit bigger of a model. Do I have another somewhat bigger brush in this set I can use? I'm not skipping to the fan brush. I left a lot of my brushes over there that are already out of the package. So making sure I use my brushes that I have on. This one's a little too, yeah, intentionally scruffy. This is a 1/4 inch scruffy. Scruffy approves. Might want this one in a bit, not for this part. Oh, get out of there, dental tool. You have totally different place you should be. I don't want to use a brush that's more billowy like this. I don't know what the technical term is, but I'm not a fan. Alright. Let's try to dry fit our brush here. Might be a little big for that, but the way it's angled as far as like the surfaces, I probably won't be bumping into too many other spots. Pauldrons when we get to the metal. And under there. This should work. Come on. Alright. Dark Angels green. Drinking water. I'm not hearing or feeling much shaking, so maybe I'm going to have to add some water to this. It vastly diminishes the life of your acrylics. Oh yeah, that is dried out. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Come on. I've got matte mediums and stuff somewhere, but I haven't gotten into all that kind of fanciness yet. Using the finest tap water. This is probably dried up enough that I'm probably going to have to switch over to the Caliban green instead. Shake it a shake it. Oh, Caliban is a base color, so it's from a slightly newer generation than this, probably. This needs revivified. I'll put it up on the top there. That's obviously the one that's already open, so we will go with that. That sounds much more promising. Like stirring a bowl of macaroni. I used this on the bases I used for my, ooh, hi, just took out a knoll. Well, that was easy. Just smack it with a Tensor's floating disc. Alright, so used a lot of these deep well 30, 40, and 50 millimeter. This one being a 40 mil base for my Malifaux Swamp Crew. Excuse me. Too much water all at once. Alright. Of my Malifaux Swamp Crew for the Solarids, the Guppies, the Spawn Mother. Had a fuzzy on there. Alright. Where does this skirting start? Definitely put that song back into my head. Wow. The few words of it I do know, plus the horn line. 25 or 6-4. Sitting cross-legged on the floor. Gotta have like 20 member horn set or more. Because it's some intense brass there. Even as a woodwind player, I gotta hand it to their brass. I got some brass balls, and we've got the biggest balls of them all. Some balls are made for painting. In Rule 34, I'm sure somebody's done it. I mean, I know there was one guy who was boofing paint and then splurching it onto canvas in a very Jackson Pollock kind of way. Paladin. I don't know if he's going to be a converter else kind of paladin or divine example. Got a little bit on the shield. Erase it while we can. Oops. Slow down with some of this brushwork because we're just accidentally hitting spots. Get that spot underneath the skirting. Get this ribbon. The Green Knight. I have wanted to see that. I have not gotten around to it yet. I've also wanted to see the Adam Driver Don Quixote movie. that guy is trying to become like the next busiest man in Hollywood, next hardest working man in showbiz, because starting with The Force Awakens, he has done quite a few roles in such a short amount of time. That zombie comedy movie, Don Quixote. And whatever other ones I'd seen ads for that I am not currently recalling. Get this side of it. Caliban Green. And the Merciless. I don't know much of the 40k lore. A bit disappointed that they switched from fantasy to Sigmar, but that's more due to the loss of the fantasy terrain line, because as expensive as the 40k and fantasy units were by model number, they were pretty affordable for miniatures. I mean, for terrain. You want some spooky trees. You want this giant base with carved skull monuments. I played quite a few Malifaux battles on one of those at a gaming shop. I was playing Guild against Arcanist. Cody was running said Arcanist with Rasputina, basically Elsa before Frozen came along. And I was running, I think, Sonya, maybe Lady Justice. But the star of the VP was my guild executioner. I jumped him off of this, we deemed it a height 3 ledge, maybe higher. He took his damage flip. However, damage was resolved in that because Malifaux uses cards instead of dice, an elegant weapon for a more civilized time. So you had a little bit more control over things because you could, if you weren't being penalized with a negative flip, you could sub in cards from your hand. So you had to manage your resources wisely, but he jumped off there, took some damage, attacked Rasputina with his giant freaking claws that have replaced his hands, and he decapitated her because I was able to cheat in a lower number, but she'd only flipped a 2 on her defense while he flipped and or I cheated in that second ace to give him the suits he needed for the trigger to decapitate her, and he also managed to regain all of his health from it. It's like, I think we quit after that because that was just too epic and demoralizing to watch. Oh, wow, our leader just got decapitated by that dude who jumped out of nowhere, Wolverine style. Did a superhero landing and chopped her off. All right. I think that's enough of the dark green for this fella right now. All right, this is representing our druid. don't necessarily want to use the same green because I want to be able to tell things apart. All right. So that's his triad. We have here, I think Catachan and Castellan are essentially the same. Does this, because this is the 2006, this is 2011. Okay, I'm just going to set that aside for Revivify pile. Okay, this one's good. Let me get that out of the way. Having just eaten some leftovers off with a very good beef to noodle ratio. It's like all beef tips with some noodles to make up the gap in between. So if it were floor tiles or bricks or anything like that, then the noodles are simply the mortar in between. And oh, it's so good. All right. This is a lighter green, so let's try to get the darker green out of here. If not, we'll switch brushes. Clean this out later after we're done painting something else. All right, I think we're mostly good here. Start with the skirting. Got a little swish in the hip there. Gonna get in there where the wash didn't want to stick. Oh good, that's her leg. My finger was in the way. I wasn't sure what it was, but I didn't want to paint it with this color. Get the underside. Being a druid, camo greens would probably be her preference or preferable. So, bottom of the foot, no big deal. Just don't want to have unpainted down there. Whoops, I accidentally got the side of that leg. Just trying to lighten it up a little bit. All right. Trying to roughly go the same direction with the brush strokes. That way, if any do end up showing, but preferably to make sure none of them are showing. Get right up to that belt that's cocked to the side because of that swish in the hip. All right, more dress here. Oh, get in there where that missing wash is. The back of that. Keep her hair out of the way. I don't remember what her hair color was. The cleric's apparently blonde-eyed blue hair. I mean, blue-eyed blonde hair. Even if these models end up being used for something else and I find more appropriate models for the characters, they'll be painted, and that is always a plus. Leather armor could be dyed pretty much any color. She is showing cleavage, so we'll save some room there for skin. What all is going on with that pauldron? Oh, it's a bear head. Okay. Because from this side, it was like, what is that? But no, it's a bear's head. Aw. Alright, so we're saying it's leather. Because worked metal is unnatural. But it's a necessity they have to use for certain weapons and such. Begrudgingly, they've made that exception to their policy. You can wear this kind of armor and use these kind of weapons, but don't adopt the way of the city dwellers. Unless you happen to be more of a city urban druid, then that might change. I know with the Metal Master variant druid from a Dragon magazine, all about that metal. Because metal comes from the ground. Why should we not work it? It's just as much nature's as the fruit of the land, the fruit of the trees, and the grains of the land. Oops. Yeah. I might paint those tan later, but I'm going to paint the leg in between the other color. Just a little bit more. But we will. What's binding the bear to the pauldron? Alright, that's hair. That has no paint on it. That's hand. Oh, come here. Almost at the point where I want to bust out the reading glasses because this is such a small model. Those are all the way upstairs. Let's go with this arm. Like I mentioned yesterday, with any step along the way here, that it's becoming more painted. But like, oh, hey, the green one. Oh, the purple one. You know, when we get into encounters, I was going to say combat, but not all encounters have to be combat. I'm using the milestone leveling. which since one of Greg's characters is an artificer, Cal, that whole crafting pool for your XP, you get a little bit of a bonus because of being an artificer, a separate crafting pool, but since crafting does require XP, if we're doing milestone, how that would interact. But if it means he levels just a little bit more slowly than everybody else, because the milestone, my analogy was you're still going from 0 XP, 1,000 to 3,000, or whatever the numbers happen to be. Like on a radio dial, you're still going from the first station, I'll say 88.1, all the way to 107.9 at some point, but you still can use presets, which is what the milestone leveling is going to be, that you're now at this station, but those stations are still in between. You're now at this station. You still had to get through those, even if we took a shortcut towards getting there. Alrighty, well, that's enough paint for her for right now. I think the musicians would have a brighter green. Hi. Goblin green. Gobble. Gobbles. Excuse me while I crack my sternum. Ah. All right, make sure we get any extra paint off of there. Make sure we close up this Castellan. I'm taking a sip now before I shake. We're almost at the hour point. Then I will change out my paint water and get more actual water and go make water. This one, I think I'm going to go with the Caliban green for that cloak, possibly. A bit watery, but that's fine. I'll come back and do another coat later. Yes. What do we have going on with this model? Lots of metal. Lots of metal. All right. So that we got enough there for now. Let's just go ahead and no, let's go brighter. The musicians, they can go as bright as they want. Let's go Snot Green, Moot Green, Snot Green, Goblin Green. I'm not hearing anything. Oh, okay. Not as bad as I thought, but it'll get us through these models, hopefully. Use what's in the lid. Alrighty. over this spot with the other wood colors and stuff later, so it's not as big of a deal if I hit certain other things. I was already planning on doing a different green for the interior because of the, well, just because, but because of the texture on there, make it even more so. Where does the cape connect? I think right there. That's where the fastener is. Ooh. Position. Let more of this wash show through than I have been. Not quite a dry brush. Get all the way up to this belt. Get this shoulder. Looking like a wizened sage with the way the wash came off the hair. Let's say to that coat. Go ahead and make the sleeve the same. And then we'll change the color of the breeches. Get the edge of the collar. This flowing sleeve. Where's my... I think it's over there. A little bit more on that sleeve. Get the sides. Under that arm. That underarm armor. Whoop. Got a spot in there with no paint. There we go. So far, especially not for an NPC. Oh. Do we not have paint there? Put this musician down. Grab this. Ah! Dwarven Piper. Come on, focus. There we go. How do we want to do this? Okay. Saw something change on my screen. Okay, so that's a pelt. So we're not doing the cape with him. Okay, maybe his breeches. Into the crotch we go. It's a little bit heavier on the crotch. Since that's the only green we're going to have, really, looks like. Some metal and some pelts. Oops. That needs erased. Money for candy. Oh, well, I don't need that crossbow right now. It's one of the crossbow from the original Hero Quest. Can't remember if those are soldiers or if they're supposed to be statues of soldiers. I've used them as either before. Don't ask me why my statues. I have no idea. Make that a leather vest. So I'm going to go with that, though pauldrons is one color. In there. I'm going to put this on the bottom of the shoes just to have paint on there for now. I've got him gripped in these forceps by his tab since he's a pewter model. Oop. Ended up setting the chef, not Chef Boyardee, but Campbell's Soup Chef here on the Giant. Really coming together, guy. Finally. I painted the skin and the handle circa 1999 or so. Somewhere between 99 and 02. I was still stationed at Fort Wainwright, Fairbanks, Alaska. Hi, Alex. Hi, Josh. Hi, Monteith. If you're in Fairbanks, Alaska, stop in and try some Fatburger. locally franchised and operated. I've had Fat Burger in or near LA, and I've heard they're scattered, like one in Vegas, one in Mississippi. It's just odd where the franchise opportunities have happened. It's all in a row. I was having that discussion at work the other day about White Castle pulling out of Northeast Ohio however many years ago, and how they don't do franchises. They just are one corporate entity. You can still get them in like Cincinnati and Columbus, from what I understand, but that's fine. We have our own local version called Hamburger Station that's 1,000 times better anyway. However, Hamburger Station's all about the pickles, onions, and mustard. If you want ketchup, you're getting packets. And about that. Oops, we're not on camera. Despite how big this guy is, we're not on camera. How much green fabric? Well, just how large were you thinking? Just an acre or two. What? Is this not enough gold? Oh, it's plenty, sir. It's plenty. I've just never made that much fabric at once. I will, if I may have an advance, I will hire some more workers to expedite the process, because it would take me far too long to do on my own. I'll pay for all of it in advance if it takes that. I'll be back this way in... Is a fortnight enough time? If not, here's more gold. Just getting pelted with freaking giant-sized coins. Hire enough workers so that you can leave your current workers as your supervisors, and gives you enough time to go try to essentially fence these coins, because you're going to have to find a decent exchange rate for giant coins, possibly antique. They probably had them on them when they came from Zendrick to Corvair millennia ago, and the giants may not have actually made any new coins. They just keep passing them between each other, much like Beavis and Butthead passing the same dollar back and forth. Come on. Get the snot green on there. Snot green. It is green. It's snot. It is. Exactly. Glad we agree. What? What just happened? What, do you think all giants know each other? Like we've got some kind of secret handshake. Fortunately, hill giants have large places in which humans can hide. Unfortunately, it's the bottom of their feet. Magic the Gathering Original Hill Giant. Star of my first deck. It was a mud deck, alright. We didn't have pre-constructed decks back then, so relied on the kindness of strangers, as it were, because there's not many stranger than Jake. He'll admit that. Jake and his brothers hooked me up with a bunch of cards, so then I was finally able to make a 2-color. And then Sam gave me a couple Dark Heart of the Woods from the Dark, sack a forest, gain 3 life. So, slightly changed the ratio of swamp to forest. I need some skin for his shins. His shin up to the knee or whatever is exposed here. Paint the crotch. Even if naughty bits weren't an issue, if a giant's walking over you in a loincloth, then it's straight butthole. Hovering over you for however long. Boy, where did he go? There you are. Can't remember if any version of D&D gave giants that exceptional sense of smell that we learn of in the historical account of Jack and the Beanstalk. 100% accurate. You weren't there, you can't tell me otherwise. The giant was a metaphor for what? Commerce? Industry? Taxation? Yeah. Big agriculture? More in there. It's probably more of a leather-like wrap. So. Stay. Alright, so it's been an hour. I definitely need to do a water exchange. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. And other Mondegrins. Misheard lyrics that you've now assigned new words to because you thought that's what they were. Just going to go with that for a placeholder for editing purposes. I have something much better later. can't right now. It's a glove. Where you going? Want to drink the sink? Do you want to drink the sink? Let's drink this. All right, well, this is what I was looking for earlier. My test pattern from an RC car for editing purposes for when I walk away from the desk. Alrighty. Thank you if you were bearing with me live. We now return to painting with Johnny. Anything else? Green? He's only green because of undead of some sort. I haven't found the right template for him. 3.5, it's all about the templates. Ooh, hi. Purple. Oh shoot, I was going to get some eye drops. Hold on. I'm going to set this here so I can edit out the editing. Oh. Ah. Alright. I had taken my eye drops with me in my jacket, so I'd have them for me on hand for work and such. It's only 8:30. Why am I so tired? Alright. Let's get our purple triads. Those are blues. Where are my purples? Those are the oranges. Oh, that's where I put the extra orange. It fell down. There's the purples. Alright. Purples and reds and pinks. Alright. Ow. Shoulders are killing me. Shake all three at once, and hopefully one of them is working. I can hear one. Ooh. I'm liking how the wash dried into the kettle, because I left a nice big blob of it, bubble of it, surface tension. So we've got Nagaroth Knight, Lich Purple, and Warlock Purple, not to be confused with Warlock Bronze, or Bayeshk. I'm also going to grab Emperor's Children and Pink Horror and my reds, just in case I need some extra accents. Mephiston and Corn Reds, respectively. Right. So I've got those on hand. Let's go with our darkest color first. Sounds like it's one of the functional ones, yes. Okay. This guy's got so many complicated things on him. Just saying. So that's been a green brush. This can be my purple brush, especially since these models are so much smaller. All right. Get into that spot where the wash didn't go. If we get it on things we don't want to here, we're just going to be highlighting those spots anyway, so no big deal. Usually don't have long sleeves on when I paint, so I could button them, but let's go especially dark there in the pleats. Or in between the pleats, however that works. Appears to be holding a dagger. Did I just paint it over? But whatever. We'll get back there. Alright, let's paint this more since I'm having trouble staying on screen. I'll make the vest a slightly different purple so I don't have to worry about it as much. Or maybe I'll go with pink for that or something, or the red. Whatever seems to give us a greater contrast. Get the undercarriage. And I'm wearing the flannel because it's a wee bit chilly here. Okay, Google, what's the weather? Okay, Google, what's the weather? 25 and partly cloudy here on the 28th of March, 2022. Burr. Like we already had like a 70-degree day or two in, I think, either early March or late February. And here we are, freezing our butts off. Hello, statistics? Hello? Uh-oh. Oh, hi, focus. I guess the coat can be purple and the vest can be another color. If I can figure out what is what here. Yeah. That's hand. That's... Whoops. Did I get it on his hand? Alright. It's like a purple version of Vash the Stampede's coat. The humanoid typhoon. You're Vash the Stampede? No. How many billion double dollars was he worth? 40? 100? Did the bounty keep going up as more and more collateral damage happened from everybody trying to best Vash the Stampede? One of those shows that like to vacillate between super serious and absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, neighbor. Well, he is very purple. Yeah, if we stop painting at this point, we'll know that the purple guy is the purple guy. And we can react accordingly. Let's reverse the pattern for him and go with dark with a bright cloak. For our Ben effector here, our patron Ben, a gnome of the University of Morgrave. Give him different colored breeches as well. Get that sleeve in this dark Nagaroth purple. Oh, Nagaroth night. So night. Ah, got it on my pants. don't have to perfectly erase it, but gotta get it light enough that it's easier to paint back over again. What about this sleeve? Oop. Nobody's hero. Cure the wasting disease. Hero. Let him dry. Okay, this one doesn't have the extra, so we'll just go dark here. There's a fuzzy on there. I think it took my tweezers over to their place. Start here, go to there. Gotta jump, jive, and then you will. You gotta jump, jive, and then you will away. Get under the arms. Get the tuchus flap. Yes, this coat comes complete with separate butt flap for the most discerning of adventurers. Still haven't gotten that thing out of there. That may have actually worked. I think this one's going to have an eye patch because of where the wash decided it didn't want to go. I think that makes it kind of unique, so eye patch it is. Didn't get the undercarriage at all. Get up to the edge of those collars. What do we got going on here? I thought it was a dagger. It turns out it's a scroll. At least that's what it appears to be. That's a ribbon, not a hilt. Need more paint to get down into the cuff. The edge. think I'll make the eye patch match with the pants since they'll be a little, but I'll wait until I get the face tone on first and then put the eye patch back over it. More of the undercarriage. Come on. Okay. Well, his butcher's apron's going to be some kind of leather. Right, he can have a purple shirt. Same thing with his gloves, they can be whatever the leather is. It's too wrinkly to be his actual flesh. I was wondering if he was a shirtless butcher. I'm glad he's not. For health service reasons, food service, health, and safety. Not that I probably couldn't have painted it either way, but those appear to be folds of cloth. More of a tunic style shirt. I don't think I have to worry much about the other side because the piggy is there. Let's get the undercarriage. Whoop. Okay. There. Okay, so the apron, but he's got a vest that's separate. Okay. Get the front of the undercarriage, even if it is a different material. I just don't want it to be empty. But the lack thereof, if you leave me empty inside, rendezvous. Now I'm through. Now I'm through with you. Alrighty. Anything else for that material? I think we are done, laddie. Alright. Same thing for the Campbell Soup Kid. Whoa. We didn't get much at all as far as that apron went. I mean, the backside went. Alright. Let's just get these sleeves. Arm. Got to get inside that fold right there. And the top of that sleeve. And what little bit of the front is showing. Alright. No one else in purple. Maybe this devil or demon. Do we want the purple for the skin or... Wow. She doesn't have much in the way of clothes. She's got some armor here. You know what? Let's go with shades of purple for the body. Because a lot of my demons are already reds. Exhibit A, 1999 or so. Just painted him with some red tester's enamel. Just have a deity or devil to show up for the characters. Huh. I'll leave that imperfection in the wing. Let's see. I'm guessing her skin and one layer of the wing, whether it's that side or that side, would be similar. Or the wings can be something totally different. Let's just get this on the body. We can figure out what's skin and what's not. Yes, I'm skipping my usual wash steps. Partially because I forgot. Partially. Now let's go to purple. Do I have a purple wash? I have that violet wash that I used for them. Where did I put that? Oh, over here. Violet. I'm having a hard time differentiating the various textures on her between the armor and boots and whatnot. Belly, the chest, sides. Keep her horizontal here to get the neck. I don't know what color her hair is, but give her that shadow with the purple for now. Does my appearance make you uncomfortable? No, I see, half-naked demons all the time, yeah. Devil, thank you very much. Not some chaotic beast. Brutish or British? Why not both? I think I'm going to go with a sepia wash for the wings. So I'll just give her on purple. Have her pull the Demona where she can wrap her wings around like a dress or cloak. Appear to the characters that way at first, and then lose any sense of modesty as a negotiation tactic. Get the hair, let's not get the wings. Get the horns. Make sure the too much kind of pulling in the cleft there, in the crack. Alright. Get some hair there. I think one of my neighbors is cooking popcorn. Like, probably making microwave popcorn, but I smell popcorn. However, shall just put the wash on the base. Yep. She's flying. Quite literally, I've got her by the wings. Alright. What kind of Claire do you think you are that you can't tell the difference between insert high-ranking devil from a low-ranking demon? Or vice versa. It's like they have to get this high of level just to reach this level of our pantheon or pecking order or what have you. Let the rest of it dry before we get to those things. Got like this dynamic pose going on here. Who are you? I'll make you. I think these guys are going to be more greens, but let's skip this wash step. I just wanted to get that on her while we were dealing with purples, but I accidentally started straight into the night purple. Violet away. I took my apple barrel white over there. Don't know if I have another usable white right now. Well, I mean, this is the base. I do have the black I need, so let's go that route. Because we don't want to get that on the white anyway. So let's start painting some Crusaders. Or whatever they're called. Missed a huge spot, but alright, so the ones that only have the tabard probably only have it in black. They don't have the white robe to go with it. So white robe. White robe. So let's get all the ones with just the tabard robe here. So tabard, because wouldn't want the warriors to have the white uniforms, except maybe during formal occasions, like Navy cook whites. Is this guy even wearing a shirt? Nope. Okay, so he's just got a tabard on, kilt style. Speaking of which, He's got fur, but he also has that. That can be black as well. Alright. Since that guy's gonna have a white one, this guy's got fur. Ah! Alright, this guy's got both, but we can get his tabard and then move him out of the way. Likewise. What about this one? Same. Alright, so let's start with these 3 that need to have their... I think I need to use the Imperial Primer unless the cameo appearance, buddy. How big are these tablets? Come here! He just got closer by like a few feet. Come here. Whoops. Come here, Dr. Merman. I'd like to pet you. We're all out of treats. We had them all earlier. I'm sorry. He doesn't have enough money for rent or electric, much less treats, but we've got a big bag of food, so we won't be starving. Which part's which here? Oh, okay. Yes, no, maybe so. So I'm using this guy as the paint reference, but Dr. Merlin, come here. Come here. Kommen Sie her, bitte. Schnell, schnell. Hurry up. Come over here. Make your appearance on camera. Down with the sickness. Your mother get up. Come on, get down with the sickness. Opioid. Let it flow into me. Oops. Well, it's an armored leg, so... Just had me a Warforged idea. Different materials. Come on, just a bit darker. So we can pick out those other details later. Double check. Alright. There's that guy. So just that in the middle. Alright. Kind of can see it in there, though. Let's just go black. It appears to be a different spot. Can you imagine how horribly hot it was for Europeans heading to the Levant to try to take back the Holy Land? Especially if they happen to be dressed anywhere near these kinds of fantasy portrayals. Like here, you got this layer on, then your tabard, then your cape, plus all your armor, and it's unbearably hot. You can't fight at night, so everyone has to camp out and basically have a half time before tomorrow's battle if things weren't decided today. It's bad enough being in an American desert like the Mojave/Death Valley. I was stationed at Fort Irwin, California for 2.5 years. And most of the year, it is ridiculously hot. Oh, Eric, you made the armor black. We'll just say you made his armor black. I'm going to give them metal colors. Although I might just add shine to his breastplate or something. Maybe I didn't have a good enough metal because he went with gray for the sword. I had the gold on hand, apparently. That's a separate strap. Well, we can paint back over that in a minute. Got a cross of sorts swinging between your legs while you're trying to charge into combat. Like, oops. You're hoping it'll hurt your enemies' naughty bits more than it hurts your own. Just stop short in combat because of a sudden impact down below. I have to go back and touch up all the black here because it's a bit watery. Get all this side undercarriage stuff taken care of. And the undercarriage. I'm sitting a bit crooked. Hey, we're at the 2-hour mark, give or take. gonna wait until I get this black layer on these guys, and then I'll take a bathroom break. And switch out the water, because it'll need it after I blot out the bed and black in the water. Like that purple's not enough to really need it, especially since this is the next color. The other way around, I would have had to dump it and start over here. I've got more than enough water in me for a minute. But if you don't, take your sip now. Take one down, pass it around. Take a bottle, take it down. Pass it pass it around. Come on. And get the front of the undercarriage. Got a love-hate relationship with broccoli bases here. Like, I like that they're here, but they also make it hard to paint under. Oh. It's 9:15 and I just got a sudden case of the tired's. I'm gonna paint for as long as I can. Come on, you only have the skirting. I don't have to worry about a shirt on you. Let's get this paint on you and get to the next model. Top, bottom, or otherwise. Okay. Good enough for that. That is the Dwarven Piper's base. Alright, so I got 4 more here. Then we can consider a bathroom break. I mean, take one, because there's no consideration now. Water goes in, water comes out. Water go down the hole. Water come back. Ducky go down the hole. Ducky came back. Teddy go down the hole. Teddy came back. Oh shoot, he made the shield, his shield black anyway. I'm going metal. I'm going metal colors. I don't think I had silver with me when we were painting. Could be wrong though. I mean, I like his color schemes, but I want a little bit more shiny on there. At least for these boys. Undercarriage. How far up does this tabard go? It's a little bit more. Call it day for him right now. There we go. Running out of paint on the lid because of just how much coverage I'm giving them. Would like to go back to Lucy's campaign at some point. my dwarven cleric, who is also heading into the dwarven defender prestige class at some point. Not the most direct route to qualify for that prestige class, but it made sense thematically for the character. It's a Lord of the Rings campaign, slightly alternate universe. Like a lot of the events are still going on, but we're not necessarily in the same sections as the action. Some things happen differently, like Philly and Killy were not filled or killed. Hashtag too soon. Oh, clearly tell this tower goes up. Need to go back and double check the last guy. So I was just doing the skirting part of it, but this one clearly goes up. Oh, this one too. Yeah. DCUs, the Desert Combat Uniform, not the Desert Storm one with the chocolate chips, but the one after it that's much more similar to the Battle Dress Uniform BDU camouflage pattern. It was too hot when I was at Fort Irwin. I'm glad that we didn't have the ACUs yet, because those things were ridiculously hot when I had them in the reserves. The second reserve unit I went to. I don't think that's how it works, but if it'll keep you from nitpicking, fine. Second rule of PSYOP is what we make is product, everybody else makes propaganda. Splitting hairs much. We have to have that little marketing identifier number in the bottom that, yes, this is our message, and like when you see paid for by the blah 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 foundation kind of things, like similar, but it's just that little marking. If you've got your weekly advertising circular, Red Plum or whatever it's called in your particular area, if that's not just a regional thing, then check the bottom of each of those ads. You'll see that they have actual like letter number combinations for their ad. Same thing if you look at billboards, they have to have essentially a license plate number at the bottom of the billboard. Serial number, as it were. So what we make is product, what they make is propaganda. And the third most important thing is that it's pretty much all on the job training, because I had to take some online assessments, some lessons about, oh, hey, this is the history of PSYOP, this, that, and the other. But you'll learn more when you go to your job school. AIT if you're active duty, or if you're going into the military in the first place. But reclass school, if you're already an MOS holder, go through 37 Fox reclass school. I went to Fort Hunter Liggett, California, which much more scenic than Fort Irwin because there was actually trees, but it's still just as hot and horrible. The reason there's trees is because it's along a river as part of the Spanish Mission Trail. There is actually one of the Spanish missions right there on-off post. Like, you have to go outside the wire, and then there's this mission, and then you have to go back inside the wire for the training area. Like, you go out the main gate, or whichever gate that one was, and then you come back in the side into the basically playground area kind of thing, like if you want to use school as an analogy. You leave the building, you go out into the playground, yay! When we were doing our sticks lanes for that, we got to visit the mission. I don't think I took any pictures. I don't know if I had the ability to with the phone I had at the time. Not sure what I had in 2010. Maybe my S1 or S3, so maybe I took some pictures. While I'm talking about Fort Hunter Liggett, I saw Clash of the Titans at the On Post Theater twice, or I should say like 1.25, because when Zeus hits Agamemnon with that lightning bolt, the power on post went out for the rest of the night. Like, whoa, Zeus, you made your point, buddy. But they had a free showing of it later. It was only $1 or so the first time, but gave us a free showing if we had our tickets to see it again, since we didn't get to see it that first time. Just had other ideas that night. But it was fun because we're already kind of out in the desert, somewhere south of San Jose. I know that's the airport we flew into, and then we had to take a bit of a bus ride back to Post, and vice versa when we flew out. But which I had overslept, I think, and nobody bothered to wake me up. Thanks, Blue Falcons. But not the responsibility, but still, look out for your neighbor. Like, hey, this guy in this bunk hasn't gotten up yet. You might want to get ready and go. Grabbed all my stuff, ran over to the bus. My stuff was loaded up last. And much like with Magic's LIFO, now known as the stack, last in, first out. So as soon as we got to the airport, I ran around back, grabbed my stuff, and made a beeline for the terminal. A little bit more on the undercarriage. All right. But with the post power out, and I don't know if it was just a post power issue because I don't know the power supply situation there. When I was at Fort Wainwright, Alaska, we had a coal plant that took care of our power and heat and hot water, because the above ground but underground pipe tunnels, all the utility tunnels, had hot water pipes that came to all the buildings, which gave you radiator power, well, radiator heat, and then also all the hot water on post but since it provided electric and hot water and heating, the times that that coal plant went out of operation, the whole post would be out of power. Fort Irwin, California didn't have its own power plant on post, which was really bizarre considering how much further it is away from civilization. It's a good 50 miles from the city of Barstow. We were 15 miles outside of Barstow when the drugs kicked in. But, oh, got him. But, and they did use Fort Irwin Road for filming a lot of movies like that. Did you get the same kind of trees and vegetation? Uh-oh. This guy didn't get actual paint on there somehow. It's a bad and black. It's just a little too watery for him. Alright, let's try to wick that away. But there was no power on post or possibly the surrounding city or something, but that made the light pollution go way down, and I was able to gaze up at so many stars that night. It was like being back out in the training area of the box in Fort Irwin, California, laying on top of my Birdom Viz-modded Humvee. So a Humvee visually modified to resemble at a glance a Soviet Birdom, BRDM, small APC or relatively small APC. Or maybe that's their equivalent of a Humvee or Jeep. I'm not sure. But regardless, laying on top of there at night with that turtle shell hatch popped up, propped up, and sleeping like as a recliner, seeing all the shooting stars. But I got me some quality outdoor time and alone time just staring at the stars instead of going back in the barracks where it was going to be dark anyway. Alright, enough prattling for right now. I'll be back. Stay. Maybe stay. Have fun focusing on that. much longer I can last. I need more paint on things. Some more eye drops. Alright. Blot my eyes. Cross my T's. Oh, okay. And we're back. Lights, action, camera. I see you, Dr. Merlin. What's up? Come here. Come up here. Please. Please and thank Please and thank you. Come up here. So how did I get the skin tone on him if I didn't? Merlin, come here. Dr. Merlin. Look, come here. Come up here. We'll find a way to make it work. Get up here. Get up here. We're out of treats. I am so sorry. But I am not just a treat machine, buddy. I'm not just a treat vending machine. I have to come back putting food in the treat container, but I don't know if it'll work. Pretty sure I've tried that before, and he's been like, this isn't shrimpy shrimp. Why are you trying to lie to me? Modern problems, modern solutions, my boy. Merlin. Don't know me. Come here. You guys are such vocal kitties. You want to go cuddle with your brother and keep him comfy? Keep him comfy on the couch. I've got to get back to the... Oops. Hold on. Not that I'm not going to be painting brown, like fur brown over it anyway, but... Okay. Ah! Well, yeah, he landed on his feet. About that. About that, buddy. Alright. Ah, stay. Gotta get the edge of the skirting. The last person who called it a skirt got cute. No, I did not moisten this brush before putting paint on it, so it's been a little moody. Just a little recalcitrant. Alrighty, let him dry. Alright, now that we've got those kind of sort of base coated and some highlights going, well, not highlights, but contrasts going. Buddy, can you come here? Where are you going? You got food, you got water. You do, promise. Where are you going? Come on, man. Just ran all the way away from me on the other side of the table, on the far side of the couch where I can't get to him. He could be like, why aren't you petting me? I wonder. I wonder why I'm not petting you, buddy. And now he's back. Come here. Come here, buddy. To the characters. from the top. Silver. Sterling silver. Well, I don't think the characters can afford sterling silver quite yet. Idealized. Going with idealized colors here. Realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man. For whatever that means. Let's keep that handy. We need something a bit more detail oriented. That might be a bit too big. I'm not a fan of rounds. Oop. That's a little too pointy. Set this over here for a minute. Back to our cleric. Let's try to dry brush this on. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe just coat it on there. It's silver after all. Maybe I'll go back and put brushed silver on there instead. Ooh, that's taking paint with it. You're not dry enough. Alright, stay. Something's got to be ready for some silver, right? How about this guy? I know I painted her before him, but maybe that paint's just on there thicker or something. Yeah, I don't think sterling is a good first coat for metal. So let's set that aside and get the brushed. I might have a little bit darker coverage. Let's turn this completely around so I hopefully don't accidentally do that. Wrong. Oh, shit. Alright, well, we're going to use this up before we go on to anything else. Do we have a Pringles can lid around here somewhere? I guess not. Okay. Let's try the other side of this shield. Better coverage, okay. In an effort to use up this paint spillage, I think I'm going to use it on the Crusaders. and then paint the gold over that. Because it'd be gold trim, not gold weaponry, because gold is not nearly as hard as iron. The brushed silver can be iron. Do the sword like last. Let's get that set of plates. And so far it's not running down, so that's good. Erase that. Leg. Come on. Oops. Finish this leg and then try to wipe that off. No, let's wipe it off now. Oop. Ah. Need somewhere better to hold them. I don't have blue tack to stick them onto a pill bottle, but I have plenty of pill bottles. I mean, in theory, I could just pop the top off and put a screw through the broccoli base and the lid. Like up through the lid into the broccoli base, but I hadn't been thinking about that before. It's like you're not going nowheres. I don't want to have to touch up later. Because that not only involves the painting itself, it involves the finding the mess ups in the first place. It's generally better to get like a black over it first, but we'll see what we can do. I'm gonna be so sick of silver by the time I get done with this mess on top. I don't want to waste the paint. Oops. Erase. Erase. Seems to be doing a better job clinging to the sepia, but not by much. Work on my tan while I work on my minis. I don't think it puts out that kind of wavelength, but hey, it'll be two-faced, only it'll be tan that's the issue, not birds. Hopefully. This thing has 4 spikes coming off of it. So if you get smashed with that end, you're taking some piercing damage. And I'll surely declare which side I'm hitting you with. Piercing or smashing. Bludgeoning, that is, but... Although piercing doesn't count as slashing, so it doesn't necessarily help against zombies. 3.5 zombies have damage reduction versus bashing but not slashing. Well, everything except slashing. Whereas skeletons are prone to damage from bashing because they're bones. There's not much to slash on them. It's going to be, you can do a bunch of damage, but it's going to subtract 5 at a time.